Okay. Song of the Shining Night. That's what I'm doing on my turn. Each hero now gets a might token. Ha ha!
Well, that's nice. It's nice for us. I'm going to play Interlude because I saved it to save someone. And I don't want it in my hand when it comes back around to me.
Can I just like stir fork both of you guys?
Did you bring a non-starter set hero to this game?
Also, you forgot to announce your copper creation, so you don't get your copper.
Yeah, Miss Trigger.
Welcome.
Miss Trigger.
Sharked me.
It's too late. The window closed.
You dorsal finned fuck.
I know you're into shark stuff.
All right.
Welcome to the reaction step.
Where it's just like this.
It's just like this. Today we're going to be talking about all of the goodies that are coming in the new product announcement that happened about Round the Table, a collaboration with the professor of Magic the Gathering and Legend Story Studios. What's up, dudes?
You mean Tolarian Community College? What's up?
Yeah, he's fully on board with Flesh and Blood nowadays.
It doesn't say Tolarian Community College on his driver's license. It says Professor of Magic the Gathering on his driver's license. So it's kind of referencing him as a person rather than his overall empire.
So like I know they've got like esports that they're introducing to schools. Can we get like TCG sports introduced to schools and like get jobs just playing games with students? Organizing events. Can we do this? Is this a thing?
I didn't know that.
It is now.
Sports schools are playing each other in Call of Duty and stuff.
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, probably like League of Legends and Dota and that kind of stuff.
Shit, are you going to become that kind of coach, Taylor?
Yeah, when I'm like, when I can no longer do, coaches do that like kind of squatting and like arm waving, a little bit, as they coach, or like if
but
I
you're
can't
in
get
like
down
dress
on one
pants.
knee, yeah, if I can't get down on like one knee with the clipboard as my team huddles around me, yeah, I'll switch to esports coach.
Right.
Which those are real jobs you can get at least the collegiate level. I'm unsure.
That's what I'm
what
saying.
they will pay.
Let's bring Flesh and Blood to the college circuit. Pac-12 has died, but we can rebirth it with Flesh and Blood.
I applied for some of those jobs before my current job, and I was just like, I don't know what this means. I'm going to apply for it.
Nice.
I'm qualified. I have a degree in sports. 2 of them.
It's esports. Anyways.
Yeah, it's too bad it's like Call of Duty instead of,
well, I don't, who knows what it
or
is.
whatever at schools.
It's probably like League of Legends.
Yeah, but I just mean it for my old man brain. It would seem healthier for kids to like play board games together instead of,
or do that like math
sports,
game where you traverse a maze and do math or something.
Totally.
Like an educational. Remember, okay, I know this is still off topic, but you remember those typing games where you had to like type sentences and like
Mario teaches typing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why I'm an excellent typer. I hope so, because it's like the best way.
At the high school I work at, we do not have a computer class. One kid didn't even know where their web browser was on their phone.
Wait, when you and I went to school, they had a computer class because computers were just starting out. How do they not now have a computer class?
Because they have phone class now where everyone just looks at their phone.
Which is called first through sixth period.
They're like, everybody knows how to use this.
This is my TikTok machine that my mom yells at me on sometimes.
Yeah,
totally. It makes phone calls too.
Yeah. What the hell's a phone call? You mean like a voice memo?
Hey.
All right.
Okay, let's bring it back. Colin, read us what's going on here. Give us the stats.
All right, we've got Round the Table. As we said, it's a collaboration between the Tellurian Community College and LSS. It's a, I don't know. Should I just read this thing? I guess.
Yeah, read it. Just read it. Can't
Flesh
be
and
copyrighted.
blood. Flesh and blood. Round the table. I don't like that it's TCC times LSS. Like, is that the full product name that we have to call it? Anyways.
Yeah, we're making content here. It's
Round the Table contains 4 ready-to-play blitz decks designed for the fun-flowing ultimate pit fight, aka UPF, multiplayer gameplay, featuring over 100 new cards and a 24-inch rubber playmat, and all packaged inside a Teklo Industries 1,000 count storage box. So it's a fancy packaging of blitz decks with a box and a playmat.
Yep. So basically this comes with like everybody could buy one of these, and then you could all have the option of playing any deck in your UPF game against 4 or 3 other players. Or you could all play with just one box if each player plays one deck. However, each set only comes with one playmat. So you would be playmatless around the table.
And we've got the Professor as the alt art of the upcoming Professor Tekla Vossen from Bright Lights, Mechanologist hero. We have Melody Sing Along, a new Bard class hero from Arya, which is both exciting and not. We have Brevant, the Civic Protector, RoboCop from Guardian from Solana, and Ira, who's Ira, but with some new cool cards.
Totally the coolest hero still. One of the coolest Ira.
She's just does good numbers, She's got good numbers.
If I were maybe to play this, because now you've inspired me, if I do play Brevant, I will play him as like a animatronic person. Yes, citizen, it is my turn. I will block for you.
That's definitely how he talks.
Yeah.
Return to your homes.
With a name like that. Curfew enforced.
Yeah, totally.
This is your final warning, child. Curfew enforced.
Taste my hammer, villain.
I like that his arms is called Civic Guide. It's like, I'll guide your ass right back to your seat if you don't.
I grasp you with my civic guide and leading you to prison.
Anyways, so
it's a weird design they went with.
really leaning into the. Anyways,
this would be a good actual. Maybe I will do this as a Warforged paladin in my next D&D campaign. There we go. Continue.
I do like the Professor character. I really like the Professor, and I like how he's collaborating with LSS to bring this product. And, he's just a nice guy. And this is a really like casual, fun space to have this kind of less serious design, I think. So I'm for having the, Professor UPF Blitz character spin-off here.
Totally. I think that's super cool. I think, he's been an early kind of big name champion of the game. And I think it's really cool that LSS decided to be like, well, what should we make? Because he is someone who, that's like his whole gig is like telling people like, you don't need to buy this thing because you could just buy these couple cards and like, you save your money and don't buy into the whole I got to collect everything kind of hype, which is like kind of goes against the business model of TCGs. But despite that, he's kind of beloved, and this is a pretty cool way to put him in the game, and it just works, like it is Tekla Vossen, so that all works out. I think I like the idea. I like the packaging of it. Although it does seem a little expensive. It's coming in at like $70.
Yeah,
but
$69.90.
It's like 4 Blitz decks, and then the playmat and the box, which all of those things have value, but you also can't get any of these things without, it's all, you can only get it set in the whole set. So, automatically I have like concerns that we're going to have another, classic battle situation where glistening steel blade is printed and people are buying these things just to get one card to add to their CC deck. Yeah. So I really hope that that's not the case. But I don't know. It's too early to tell. The kind of collection of characters is also a little odd tonally. Like Mechanologist has like a crazy mech suit and also cards like Apocalypse Automaton. Yeah, they spelled it wrong on the website. Apocalypse Automaton, and then you have the bard who's just got like Song of Sweet Nectar and Song of the Wandering Mind, and then the RoboCop has literally a card called Lay Down the Law. And then there's Ira who's just doing like ninja cat stuff, which is cool that they like leaned into the cat part of this. But it's just like a little weird just because the Mechanologist clearly stands out as like looking very powerful and everyone else is kind of just like having fun.
Yeah, totally. It's like it's similar but not one-to-one of those people who show up in Star Trek uniforms to the Renaissance Fair, and they're like, oh, whoa, scanning shit. That's what it reminds me of. Yeah, totally. Like, whoa, interesting, Yeah,
it's
my first kind of like that.
My first thought was like, how is Ira not just going to massacre all of these people with like red bittering thorns and stuff like that?
Yeah. I think all right. We have no idea. We've only gotten a couple cards, and we can kind of go through the cards too. I really do hope, because they're selling it as a package, that these things are really tuned to kind of play off each other and lean into that, based on the design of the bard, where basically everything she does benefits everybody else, and then she makes copper tokens. And then the guardian just can protect he can block for everybody else. It seems like they're really leaning into like the politics side of it, of like, oh, like I'll block for you if you do this, or like, that kind of thing, which I'm not sure if that's even like the most fun part of UPF, but that's kind of the game that they're leaning into here, I think.
Yeah. Now I could be off base, but I think that's part of the reason why people like these social games, is the social politicking part, It's like the same people who get jazzed up about Settlers of Catan, Nobody cares about like the dice rolling. Everybody cares about when you're just like, I got 2 wheat right here. Give me a sheep. Come on. That's the part people like, when you get to fucking swindle your friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody's like, oh, I love rolling these dice and then collecting resources. That's so fun and engaging. They love to trade. So it's
Next
like the same
time I hit
thing.
a 7,
rolling dice is fun, Taylor. I strongly disagree with that statement.
Dice is fun, but like, come on, you're just rolling 2d6s, like, and then being like, huh? Oh, I didn't get a sheep. Now I got to trade for it. Yeah, totally. So I think that maybe, that they've leaned into that means that those people who enjoy that aspect of this type of game will really like that. You know what I mean? And having played UPF a few times, there's definitely like as a player on your island, you are kind of terrified every time because for some reason you want to not die, I guess. I don't know. And so having a cop to help you police the table is kind of nice, you know? And then also having someone who's like unassuming and just there to help everybody else out.
Yeah, it's like,
also seems good.
Who's gonna attack the bard when they're just like giving you life and cards and shit?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
So,
it is self-correcting in that way, right? Where it's like if somebody's too powerful or playing too well or cutthroat or something, you know, like the table can correct itself. So there's less like balance issues maybe if you're playing at a 4-player table.
Yeah. Now, all that being said, kind of my opinions largely are, I am unsure. So, like, does this help? This is my question, and then I will have more to say after my question, if that makes sense. So, my question is, does this help the casual side of
You're
Flesh and Blood?
reserving a block of time after our answers. Okay.
Yeah, before you get there. So does this help? Like Flesh and Blood needs to have like kind of a casual format, you know what I mean? And make things a bit more accessible to players. Does this product do that? Unsure, would love to hear your opinions, but let me throw this out there first. Is a $1,000 or like a thing that holds cards at least our local shop is like $3. Then to play draft, which can be pretty casual, is like $15. You know what I mean? And then you get to play like games and be social in like a draft scenario. And then you have a place to like put your cards afterwards. You know what I mean? And you're actually getting to like play a version of the game that's like a real thing out in the world. So it's just like, and then there's like a chance you get the random playmat, you know, for Armory or whatever. So like, I don't know. And there are maybe cards you're actually going to use. Who knows how many of these cards in this product you will then get to springboard your collection from. So I'm just saying, like, I don't know if that fits in the window that maybe it's supposed to. I'm unsure where this product lands and who it's for and what is its job. So help, Isaac. Let me hear your thoughts first.
Okay, I'll go first. Yeah, so I don't know. Flesh and Blood has always struggled with attracting new players and having casual settings. I think part of the reason this game is so good is because it's fairly intricate and complex to play and rewards high skill. But that makes it really hard for new players to enter, even at like Armory level, because if you are just starting out, you're just going to lose like 30 games straight until you figure it out, unless you're already TCG whiz and have the mind for it. I think the barrier to entry is pretty high for a lot of people. So I don't know if this product in particular answers that question or like provides that, space for players to play. But I do think that it is definitely in the right spirit. Like I would happily play this set casually with people if there were people at our local game store who had one and wanted to play. I think that would be pretty fun. Yeah. And one of my gripes this past year with my personal Flesh and Blood experience is that I get 0 kitchen table fun times out of the game. It's like all competitive, right? Like Armory is more relaxed and more fun, but it's still like a very competitive, setting, I guess. And then going to bigger tournaments is like hyper competitive. And there's just none of that like laid back, kitchen table aspect. So I feel like this product is trying to inject that into the game a bit. And there are lots of people who at Callings and I assume locally also, play side events and play UPF and just love it. And that's like what they're there for. They love UPF. So, hopefully this will, provide that for people. Colin, what do you think?
I agree with a lot of what you said. I think there is Flesh and Blood has a balancing act that they're trying to perform. They made this game to be like the most like fair competitive game that they could, that highlighted skill and got rid of like dead non-games as best as they could, from like a design mechanical level of the game. And I think and they put so much into the OP program, so like so much of it is designed for competition and rewards high skill. And I think that's simultaneously why I love it and also struggle with it, because I think it makes for all those interesting things. You kind of, as you learn to play, you learn, if I do things this way, if I save this card and pitch it, it'll come back around later and I'm going to have this really great turn. And, you kind of just like reveal these like different deep strategies that you can play. And then you have to learn like when those are appropriate and into what matchups and how your deck has to change and how do you have to change. There's just many, many layers to it, but it's all, it's all in the context of competition. Like they have so many cool promos that you get from winning. You can sometimes get a playmat from the raffle, but the other way to do it is by winning. So there's just so much of it that's geared towards that I feel like they've like tried really hard to figure out, well, how do we sell this to, kitchen table, social gaming kind of things. And I think that's just really hard. Like UPF in my mind just doesn't feel like regular Flesh and Blood.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little chaotic, but that can also be part of the fun. But the only time I've played it is at like an armory where like you're trying to win, like, like there's it's like never just been like, oh yeah, let's just like have fun and do that. Cause like, if I wanted to do that, we could just play and have fun. Like in CC, like you can just do that with your friends and have a good time. There's not like, to me, like that is the game that is fun. So like to have a different version of the game where the fun exists, is like a little at odds with itself, I think. But I do totally understand like the presentation of it and the packaging. It's like this is like a totally different way to engage with the same mechanics. And I think previously, I just haven't played enough UPF, but like, when I have, it's always been in like a competitive situation. But if you're just out there playing with friends, like, you get a lot more of that negotiation and, kind of table talk and like, because like, now it's not just you versus one person, it's you versus everybody. And so every now and then you're going to be like, no, don't do that. Hit this guy because he's going to do this. And you're just like, oh yeah. So you can like manipulate the game just by talking to the players in it, which is like kind of a different level of it. And I think it brings it more into the realm of, like board gaming, where it's like, we're all playing this game together. We're all trying to win, but it's it's a group activity and not just a head-to-head thing. Because I think that is an important distinction too, because the head-to-head feels very different than 1v3 or more. It's more intimate and can like easily feel bad if like things go wrong and you just kind of get tilted. Like it's hard to like, regulate that just between two people. But if you have like a larger group, that like I think allows for more opportunity for that kind of just being like, laughing at the situation and just like enjoying like the highs and lows together rather than being like, oh no, like, I suck at this like competitive game kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I think it's cool that they're leaning into that. They want to give a product that, you know, can, you know, support that by design. I think that's really important because like all the other Blitz decks and stuff, you wouldn't be like, oh yeah, play this in UPF. Like this one is like, it's tuned to provide an interesting interaction in that group social setting. And I think that's really cool. Big caveat to all of that is like, is that the game that we want to introduce new players to? And does it feel like Flesh and Blood when they play that game? And, you know, will it, I mean, and I guess it's fine if it like splits the community and like people get really into UPF. Like, I mean, Magic is like mostly Commander players. So like, as long as they like the game and support it, and the game, you know, what they make, the cards they make can support that version of the game that they like, I think that's really good. But it feels like I don't know if I'm like, yeah, this is like, let's try this out. I guess I might maybe, but I don't know. It feels weird because like then I'm the one buying it, but I'm like the one who already is invested in this game. So shouldn't really be for me to buy to show my friends how to play. But that's kind of what it feels like the product is.
Yeah, that's the thing I struggle with trying to understand this product, and I, you know, fully get that perhaps that's because it's not for me, you know what I mean? But if I can put myself in shoes where I'm like, I would like to try this game out. These two Blitz decks are like, you know, $30, and I only need one friend, and this thing's $70, and I still only need one friend, but that like isn't as good of a entry point, it feels like, when like trying a thing, you know, in my opinion. And I could be off base here with Magic and Commander, but from one of the things that Magic lends itself to in the Commander format is you can kind of like play this little engine game kind of on your island for a little bit. You know, you're like, I'm just creating rats over here, or I'm just doing taxes, or like all of these crazy things you can do in like Magic or whatever, you know, with like a large deck. You can kind of like have your own little island where you're like playing stuff and doing things, and that can be fun. Whereas in UPF Flesh and Blood, you're just like, you know, am I going to get attacked this time? Like, yeesh, you know,
by both people next to me.
Yeah, totally. Which I personally always hate that stuff. I hate getting ganged up on. It brings back childhood trauma. So, and I think that happens in both formats. But so like, I guess if you're the bard, you're just like, I'm just singing songs and making copper, and then you have like a big payoff. You know what I mean? So maybe that will exist with these 4 heroes, but then if you're like Ira, you're just like, I'm gonna just scratch your fucking eyeballs out with my Crouching Tigers.
With the new card, scratch eyeballs out.
Yeah. So it's just the last little bit here of my diatribe is, I think it's a cool product, and I do want to try it, and I would love to try it and be like, wow, this is such a fun, curated experience. I will now purchase this because this is a thing I want to have in my collection as a longtime Flesh and Blood player, because of how fun and curated it is. It makes for like a really fun experience I can pull out of the closet sometimes, and that sort of thing. And then perhaps what's going to happen here with Bright Lights is that entry point with the 3-packs, open shuffle play, or whatever it is. Not the catchiest term, but that might slip into that like zone we're talking about for new players or whatever. Okay, diatribe over. Isaac, it's your turn now. Since we're just going around the table.
All right, let me just warm up here.
It is round the table, so just keep it going.
Yeah. Keep it going.
One thing I did want to talk about is how the price point kind of ties in with the card set. We talked about the price point is fairly high for this game, or this set, or whatever you want to call it, this box of stuff.
Probably.
But I think part of the selling point there is these are all decks with all legal playable cards, and they're all upgradable, right? But then that brings you to kind of this issue, like the Singing Steelblade issue, right? Where I think good design space would be that you don't have any chase cards in this set. So then players who want to be competitive don't have to spend like $160 for a play set of like, 2 different cards they need in their competitive decks. Or, vendors don't have to rip apart a bunch of these just looking for chase cards and trying to like sell pieces and make their money back from them. So ideally, these UPF decks won't have too many of those. I know there's like red Bittering Thorns, and there might be some other cards that people want. Certainly no Bard cards, but
people are pretty into civic steps as well.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, just a quick off of what you were saying. If it's a piece of equipment, that's great because you only need one civic steps. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good zone. Anyway, continue.
That's fair. But yeah, so it kind of puts, to me, it's like an impossible win here design wise, because me, like as a collector or a competitive player, I would prefer that there are no chase cards in this like entry level UPF beginner set. But then to justify at $80 price point or $70, $80, 70. $70 price point and advertise the decks as playable and upgradable and containing legal cards, the cards in them do have to be relatively relevant or to some degree playable outside of just playing within this 4-player UPF design space. So to me, we'll see what the cards look like, when the full set is out. But to me, it's like a lose-lose. I don't know how they should design that or what they should do there, or if they just hit a happy middle ground. But, it's always, even if it is just red Bittering Thorns, common, if it's a card you need, but the only way to get it is in the set, is kind of odd, but hopefully maybe in the future they can release chase cards in the whatever slot in bright lights, or in some other way, history packs or something like that. Yeah. But
does Jinglewood Smash Hit feel like a problematic name, or just a weird name for the fiddle?
No, honestly, of all the punny names they like to come up with, I like Smash Hit is where you smash your fiddle on their head and it's destroyed. Like you get one good hit with your fiddle, like as we all know. So,
most of the time you're jingling your wood during the game, but then you get a smash hit at the end.
Oh, is that what you meant? You were putting one of those spins on it.
I don't know what kind of spin. I
thought that's what you're doing.
Just Jinglewood is a word. There's 2 words that now make up one word. Just as a podcast is a bunch of words. Yeah.
It's a new word that you already find problematic. So. Perfect.
I mean, is Melody Sing Along with her Jinglewood Smash Hit are we just gonna side in Wounded Bulls, and now this is the new terror of whatever that format's called, Blitz?
No,
what's gonna happen?
I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Why
not?
Why would that be better if it has nothing to do with anything she does?
I don't know.
A hero with a blank text box is not better than a hero with a text box that says something. So if you like, there's no way Bard isn't a Blitz character. Anyways, I was going to respond to what Isaac said, but now you've just put these ideas in my head.
Derailed him. Got him.
Just recite all of the last 5 minutes you talked.
Yeah,
so
summarize
Colin
what you
can get
just
back there.
said. No, I think
Sure.
it is. Yeah, I don't know. Bard is definitely, you can't play it, so it's not like even an upgradable deck. Like, it's not like you can play it in any other format. It's just going to be this. There's no other cards that really exist for it unless you're just throwing in generics.
Wounded
And
Bull.
if that's the case, if you're just throwing in Wounded Bull, then people are just going to gang up on you and, you'll be dead. But yeah, I agree that the fear of a glistening steel blade situation is in my mind. I mean, Red Bittering Thorns is very good. So I think that's already a sign that people will be wanting to buy this card. Hopefully, I'm hoping that some of these cards are in that expansion slot in Bright Lights. Like, if that's
That'd be cool.
that's how they should have done it. They should have released Glistening Steelblade as a card in the next expansion set, and be like, don't worry, you can collect this card later. You don't need to buy this $50 product to get 2 cards or 1 card or whatever crazy thing it was. And I think that's hopefully something they learn from. But how much, like, outside of Ira and I guess the Mechanologist hero, it's unclear how much the Bard or the Guardian in this set could really be useful outside of UPF. Like, they're clearly designed to interact with a table full of players rather than to just attack one other player. And I think that is like, that's the part where it's like, okay, cool, you have these characters who kind of doing this other thing, but then you have these other 2 characters who are clearly very like aggressive decks. Like, I mean, when you Evo out yourself as a Mechanologist, you just have like rapid fire discounted pistol blast with a bonus hit, and it's just like all with go again. And it's just like, okay, well, you can shoot anybody at the table a bunch of times, which all like feels a little crazy compared to like someone who's like, I sing a song that gives you a quicken token. And you're like,
although part of her defense is you just feel like a dick if you're just like blasting the shit out of the Bard,
somebody's gonna do it.
It's my
They're gonna be
civic
like,
duty to stop the automaton. I will block for you. It's maybe how it happens. You got to play it that way, which is fun. I do want to say artwork for 98% of it looks great. Packaging looks great. Very appealing. The design, I think, is really cool. Each hero does have a very particular flavor and artwork to it. So like, all of those things are bonuses for me, I think, with this product and that sort of thing. So that's great there. We will see. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. And we're ready to collab with LSS and bring out the new attack action product anytime.
just all attack actions
with us as characters.
Yeah.
What will I do?
I'll be the first sexy man illusionist character.
I'll just be classic white guy hipster. Like, hey, want to have a craft brew I made and listen to some vinyl? Maybe we'll get tattooed,
Would you like some cider? I deal you 3 arcane damage.
Mine is mostly psychic damage, I think.
Nice. Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I really hope that someone buys this and I get to play it and it's fun. Because if they can make something that's just fun on its own,
Absolutely.
that can sell. I think the The other worries we've talked about are kind of just like things from the past that have been issues, and, you know, thinking about as a whole how Flesh and Blood and LSS deals with the issue of just like, you know, the casual play part of this game being very it's not even that it's underserved, it's just like it's just not there. Like it's like unless you're just playing with your friends at your like house or your, you know, local pub or like, you know, your game store, that it's just like if you're either doing it outside of everything they do, or you're just, you know, part of the organized play competitive program. Like that's kind of it. And it's hard sometimes, you know, that, you know, it's like I would love to just like, I've even thought about it. I was like, maybe I'll just go to Armory and be like, okay, when everyone drops from Armory, like you want to just play like for fun, like, you know, like play 3 games in a row against the same person. Like that's like how you learn and get better and have fun, is like you just like, you know, just hang out and play versus play like games. Always being like, okay, like I don't, you know, oh, the promo this week is really cool cold foil, I hope I can win it. So, you know, now I'm feeling all this pressure. But
one of the best things I've seen communities do is shout out to the Portland area, PDX, and they were doing commoner crawls. So at different pubs around the city, be like, show up at 11, learn how to play. We got free commoner decks for you. And then at noon, we're serving beers and playing. And it's like, you know, $5 or whatever, you know? And that's the type of shit I'm talking about.
Totally. I wish I lived in Portland. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Me and friend of the show, Patrick, and friend of the show, Levi, we sometimes do ciders and cards over at our local cider company. And that's a shit ton of fun.
Nice.
Yeah, that sounds fun. And I think, you know, if we're talking about it that way, like, does LSS really need like to cater to some other like casual format?
Yeah.
And I think this is why it's like confusing, because it's like I said before, the game itself is fun. There's nothing wrong with Flesh and Blood as the classic constructed format that is like, well, this is just, it's too hard for a regular person to like want to play. It's like, no, it's not. It's like got complications and there are complexities to it, but it's a fun game. Like it's really cool. And it's like, you're not going to bring in people who don't like this kind of game into liking it in any form. Like playing it as UPF, it's still the same core mechanics of the game. If they don't enjoy that, they're probably not going to enjoy UPF. So it's really just like, do we need like these, you know, oh, like here's this casual only format, you know, set. And it's just like what we really want, and I'll just keep saying it, is like, you just need a CC deck that people can buy and play. Like stop making people like buy some like small deck for a format they can't really play anywhere to like not and then they'd be like, oh, well, how do I upgrade it? And they're just like, oh man, well, you know, you got to get all this stuff. And it's just like, just give them a like $30. It's not even, I think it'd only be like $20 if like you can get a Blitz deck for $12. Like for $20 you can get a 60 card deck, no sideboard, just like they did with the original heroes. Those were awesome. You could flip it over and it had a young hero and you just play with 20 health just because you're like just learning it. You're not actually gonna like pitch stack and like figure anything out. So it's just about playing a game and making it a little shorter and understanding it. Just like, I don't understand why why is that so hard to do? They sell commander decks. Those are 100 cards. Like, and they sell,
and they're like
$100. Yeah. They sell tons of those because they do fun stuff in there and they don't even have to, but it's just like the game itself is good. We just need a better entry point. We don't need other formats, other versions of this game, you know, to like convince people that it's fun. They just need to be like, how do I start playing and what can I buy so that I can go to my game store and play at the events that they have? Well, you need a CC deck. So I don't know what to tell you. Like, you got to buy a bunch of cards because none of the Blitz decks are really going to cut it for you. And I think that's the part I'm always just constantly confused about. That all being said, like this still looks like a fun thing to do and engage with Flesh and Blood, but it's just like, why do we have to keep asking for CC decks like that people can buy? Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah, me and Isaac literally did that thing you were talking about. Like, just play with 20 health, 60 card hero decks, and then, all right, we get it. Let's fucking level up, Isaac. Let's play the big boy game. And it was a shit ton of fun.
Yeah. It was great. There was nothing wrong with it. There was good cards in those decks. They weren't like the best decks ever, but like you could play them, you could learn to play, and you move up from there. You understand which cards are better than others and how it plays with how how your game style or, style of gameplay is as a player, and it's just seems, I just still confused. Like, happy to help figure out an Attack Action Podcast CC deck.
I would also love it if they did something like outrageous. You know what I mean? In those decks, just like, I don't know, you're creating auras and each aura is a different verse in the song. And once you get 3 of them out there, then your song pops off and something magical happens or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like really, really unique.
Your opponent goes to sleep.
Yeah.
And loses a turn.
Vicious Mockery. They get -1 intellect for the next turn,
Yeah. I mean, we didn't even talk about the bard that much. I think I was hoping there was going to be more interesting mechanics around what a bard is, not just a new type of action called a song. Like, to me, that feels just very
underwhelming.
Yeah. Like, I remember people have been talking about bard for ages, and it's like, I've seen so many cool ideas. We've talked about like, oh, if you pitch like one of each color, like that's like a chord and that will do a thing. It's like these different things that you could like associate like the playing of music to the mechanics of the game in just really fun ways. And, maybe there's other cards that do that. So, I don't want to speak too soon, but like all of these cards are just song of something. And it's just a bard action. That's a song. It doesn't attack. It just does a thing that helps everybody else out. Creates you copper, which, I guess eventually you can play the final act as a 1 for 7 if you crack all your copper and pitch a bunch of cards. Like, but it just seems very, it just seemed like such a rich
mechanic would have been cool.
Yeah, a rich theme that just so far I'm just not seeing it other than I can smash my violin on someone and that's funny.
It is cool they included that part.
I still, I mean, I'm going to hold final judgments until I get my hands on this product for sure. Because it feels like and looks like it could be like really fun for sure. And I'm excited for that. And I hate putting a but in here, but it's like, I just want to know who this is targeted to. So if this is for you, if you're like, this is the thing I've been waiting for, leave a comment below. I would love to hear it.
Yeah.
And why,
I'm sure there are people who want this, and I'm stoked for them. I'm excited to try it. I think the other thing we didn't mention too was like the whole social play kit idea that LSS is also kind of releasing alongside this, where rather than just Armory promo kits, they'll also be giving out social play kits that are geared towards game stores hosting social play events that are non-competitive and just for fun. And I think that is a really cool thing.
Absolutely.
I'm curious if that only means UPF because like I said, the game is fun. So if you just took out like the competitive part of it and just let people like hang out and have fun, rather than worry about XP and all this other shit, like, it could be a nice way to interact with the game. But they are trying. I'm excited to see them try different things and try to support, the other half of the player base. It's just like, I like this game, but I play a couple times a week, so I'm not going to be national champion, and I just, want to have a good time, and it's hard to do that sometimes.
Yeah, I do like the social play aspect, just because like that was one of the things with armories, is that there's always a finals, there's always prizing, there's always XP, and there were additional incentives to getting XP certain times of the year. So removing all those things to where a player can finally just like relax and play some games, I think is really, really great. One last thing I wanted to point out about this set, before we wrap up, is that it did introduce like a bunch of new mechanics to the game, and all of these cards are legal. I don't know how much of an effect any of them is going to have yet, but it's pretty wild to just throw in like new card types and new mechanics and all this stuff that in the future could have like a huge impact. The card type I'm mostly referring to just at the moment is block, the Guardian block card, which is like not impressive. It's underwhelming, right? But it just is like a blue blocks for 3, and it's a block card. So any effects that have to do with attack action cards or action cards or any like restrictions on any other cards do not affect this. And in the future, you could see maybe more impressive or more beneficial cards being printed as block cards, and they would entirely get around, certain very important restrictions or mechanics, that currently exist.
We're gonna need
a
new dagger, Brian.
Yeah,
Gottlieb. We need a new dagger.
So that's kind of cool, or maybe cool in the future. There's just like a bunch of things that aren't fleshed out yet, but are could be cool someday.
Absolutely. I also really liked the tower new keyword, where it's just like, if this tag is freaking huge, there's extra payoff for you, baby.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's just like, well done. You got it to over 13. Like, damn.
Yeah.
You're right. That just crushes their equipment. Like,
achievement unlocked.
Yeah.
Achievement. Yeah. Side quest completed. I am excited for the new tiger stuff too. I think these cards are cool. Growl when this attacks the next crouching tiger. You play this combat chain, gets +1, 0 for 3, go again. Love that. And Mauling Key. They also have like really cool art. These are maybe my 2 favorite arts. Combo. When this hits, if crouching tiger was the last attack this combat chain, deal 1 damage to each opposing hero, and it's a 1 for 5. Block for 3. Dope. Little finishing combo, just win the whole game. What are you gonna do now? Civic duty. That's what I said. Duty, or whatever. Your song protecting you. There's just if we're gonna talk trash, I would be into it. I can do that. Your threats do not compute, citizen. Please stop.
I love that Brevin is the RoboCop when Professor is literally building a RoboCop suit. He just has that RoboCop energy, though. Like,
they called him Civic Defender. They did this.
Yeah.
Well, his artwork too. He's like, skin is like a little too smooth. You know what I mean? He looks fake, like a Ken doll.
He's from Solana. What can we say?
Yeah.
I like the guy
He's
Evo
definitely a
Energy
robot.
Matrix just has like cool tech bro beard in his mech suit. And it's fun. I also like that the legs, the rapid fire legs, are just like weirdly smooth, where everything else has all these like,
Pipes and stuff.
yeah. And it's like these are just legs. Don't worry about them.
Don't worry about it. They remind me of like a 60s black and white sci-fi thing, where it's like obviously a person in some like cardboard piping or something, walking around. Love it.
So we'll see. The last thing I'll say, I just find it really funny that under key dates on the article, product release article, is it worth it to buy episode from Tulare Community College on Wednesday, October 4th, where it's like, do you think there's a chance? He's like, nah, it's not worth it to buy this. It's like, I fucking hope so, man. This was your idea. Like, I don't know. I don't like it that much.
I'm now full of regrets.
I mean, it happens. Design is hard. You don't always get what you thought when you started, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited. Hopefully someone buys this and I don't have to.
That code for Colin's gonna buy it.
Yeah, I hope to get to play it someday.
Yeah. Knowing my local players, someone's buying it for sure, and just gotta make sure I get there early to play or stay late to play.
There you go. Well, we all have other things to do in our life, so I'm going to end this with Song of the Rosen Matador. Yeah. And now you have a vigor token, so you're full of vigor for the rest of your activities.
I feel it.
Hey.
Thanks. Hey, thanks, man.
Why is that bird riding a bull?
Hey. Don't think too hard about it.
Oh.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Don't mess with the bull. Get the horse.
Get the bard.
Get the bard.